Recently, the back end has been bombarded with questions. Many netizens have been relentlessly pursuing me. Sima Yi was incredibly patient and calculating, laying the foundation for the Jin dynasty. But, does he have any direct descendants alive today? Let me set the record straight. Sima Yi's direct descendants have long been extinct. They were utterly eradicated, leaving none behind. Not even the collateral branches that had a slight connection were spared. If there were any direct descendants left, they must have emerged from the cracks of stones. Wild descendants are simply impossible. Some might ask, who was ruthless enough to wipe out the entire Sima Yi clan? You all know this person. It was Liu Yu, the powerful minister at the end of the Eastern Jin dynasty. If we're talking about ruthlessness, Liu Yu was even more brutal than Sima Yi. When he eliminated the Sima family, he showed no hesitation or mercy, truly embodying the concept of eradicating all traces. At that time, Liu Yu held immense power and wanted to replace the Jin dynasty and establish his own empire. However, he knew that the Sima family, despite their poor reputation, had ruled for many years. The saying goes, a dead camel is bigger than a living horse. If he didn't completely eradicate the Sima family, leaving potential threats behind, someone might one day use the Sima family's banner to seek revenge and overthrow his rule. Therefore, Liu Yu didn't hesitate. He ordered a thorough cleansing of the Sima family's royal lineage, according to their family records. Whether they were elderly with white hair or infants crying for milk, whether they were men or women, as long as they were direct descendants of Sima Yi, none were spared. All were executed. In the imperial court, the Sima family's royal lineage was nearly annihilated. In society, anyone with even a slight connection to the Sima family's direct lineage was subjected to a thorough search and execution on the spot, with no room for leniency. It always makes people feel pity for the Sima family. However, strangely, when people learn that the Sima family met their end with the entire clan being seized and their direct line extinguished, not only did no one find it cruel, but many people even clapped in approval, feeling it wasn't enough to satisfy their anger. Why is this the case, brothers? If you understand the actions of the Sima family, you'll know how despised they were and how utterly shameless they were. Their fate was purely self-inflicted and deserved. Even if they were completely eradicated, no one would sympathize with them. The despicable deeds this family committed are among the worst in all of Chinese history. To say they are the most shameless royal clan in history is no exaggeration. Let's start from the beginning and talk about the ancestral figure, Sima Yi D1. This old man spent his life mastering the art of feigning illness, hiding his true abilities, and using underhanded tactics. On the surface, he appeared loyal, honest, and unassuming, but behind the scenes, he harbored a belly full of schemes and boundless ambition, with his sole focus on seizing power from the Xiao Wei dynasty. In the past, when Xiao Shuo held power, he placed great trust in Sima Yi. However, Sima Yi took advantage of Xiao Shuo's absence during an ancestral ritual. After feigning illness for many years, Sima Yi suddenly struck, launching the coup of gaping. He swiftly took control of Xiao Shuo, and declared that if Cao Shuo surrendered his power, he would ensure the safety and prosperity of his family. Once Cao Shuo relinquished his authority, Sima Yi immediately turned against him, executing Cao Shuo and eliminating his entire family. This ruthless move secured Sima Yi's grip on power and laid the foundation for his eventual usurpation of the throne. Little did he know that his descendants would meet a similar end, with their entire lineage being eradicated. This might be one of the earliest examples of karmic retribution. Now, let's talk about Sima Yi's son, Sima Zhao. This man was even more audacious and unscrupulous than his father. Sima Yi at least knew how to feign humility and hide his true intentions, but Sima Zhao made no effort to conceal his ambitions. His aspirations were written all over his face. He even went so far as to publicly order the assassination of the Xiao Wei emperor, Xiao Mao, in broad daylight. The emperor was the ruler of the land, and even powerful ministers were expected to show some semblance of respect. If they sought to seize power, they would at least find a plausible excuse. Sima Zhao, however, tore off the mask of pretense and boldly killed the emperor in front of the entire court and the populace. This blatant disloyalty and rebellion led to the saying Sima Zhao's journey, where even passers-by would rob him. His ambition was so overt that it was impossible to hide, and his ruthlessness surpassed even that of his father, Dai. Lastly, there's Sima Yi's grandson, Sima Yan, the founding emperor of the Jin dynasty, known posthumously as Emperor Wu of Jin. This man inherited the ambition and lack of scruples from his grandfather and father. Riding on the foundation laid by his ancestors, he successfully usurped the throne and established the Jin dynasty. However, upon ascending the throne, he showed no intention of governing the country. To pacify the people, the emperor was solely focused on indulging in pleasures and squandering wealth. The most absurd of his actions was his elaborate system for selecting concubines in his harem, which numbered over 10,000. Each night, he struggled to decide whom to visit. To solve this, he devised a ridiculous method. He would ride in a sedan chair through the harem. Wherever the chair stopped at a concubine's door, he would spend the night with her. The concubines, eager to have the emperor stop at their doors, resorted to various tactics, such as sprinkling salt water or rubbing green grass, causing the harem to become chaotic and filled with an unpleasant smell. The extravagance was beyond belief. Sima Yan's indulgence in pleasure led to the neglect of state affairs. Corrupt officials ran rampant in the court, and the people's lives were miserable. However, he paid no heed to these issues, continuing to squander the country's resources and erode the foundations of the Jin dynasty. His chosen successor, Sima Zhang, was an utter fool, lacking even basic understanding of human emotions, societal norms, and the people's hardships. During a severe famine in the Jin dynasty, when people had no grain to eat and resorted to eating tree bark and grass roots, some even turned to cannibalism. When this dire situation was reported to Sima Zhang, hoping he would order relief efforts, he astonishingly replied, "Why not eat meat porridge?" This statement revealed his utter incompetence and bizarre thinking, leaving people bewildered and enraged. Consider the fundamental principles of benevolence, righteousness, trust, and loyalty. The Sima family showed none of these, betraying their rulers, indulging in pleasures, and disregarding human life. Throughout history, many of the most despicable deeds can be traced back to them. The Sima family is synonymous with corruption. The Jin dynasty, which they established, is widely regarded as one of the most useless, absurd, and harmful dynasties in Chinese history. From the moment it was founded, the Jin dynasty never accomplished anything meaningful or brought any benefit to the common people. Instead, it brought endless disasters to the Chinese Empire and the people of the Central Plains. Shortly after the Jin dynasty was established, members of the Sima royal family began fighting each other for the throne, leading to the War of the Eight Princes. This internal conflict lasted for over a decade, involving the entire Central Plains. Countless soldiers died in battle, and the nation's strength was exhausted. The people's lives became miserable. Even worse, after the War of the Eight Princes, the imperial court was weak, and northern minority groups seized the opportunity to invade from the north, launching the 5 barbarians' uprisings. The iron cavalry of the nomadic tribes trampled every inch of the Central Plains, committing atrocities such as burning, killing, and looting. The people of the Central Plains suffered immensely, facing massacres and enslavement. The population dwindled, and Chinese civilization nearly came to an end. It can be said that the disasters brought by the 5 barbarians' uprisings were among the darkest and most tragic events in Chinese history. The Sima family was the root cause of all this. If it weren't for the Sima family's internal strife, mismanagement of state affairs, and unscrupulous actions, the Chinese empire would not have fallen into such a tragic state, and the people would not have suffered so greatly. To say that the Sima family brought nothing but harm to the Chinese empire and its people, and that they are criminals in Chinese history, is not an overstatement. This family rose to power through treachery and betrayal, enriched themselves through corruption, and ultimately destroyed the entire Central Plains and the lives of countless people through their absurdity and incompetence. They rose through treachery, prospered through corruption, and fell through absurdity. From Sima Yi's feigning illness to seize power, to Sima Zhao's attempted regicide, to Sima Yan's indulgence in pleasure,